Hi, I'm Ryan. Welcome back to the garage. So I plan to get this finished in this upload. I need to connect everything, the carbs, the exhausts. So building on last week when I tested the compression and I had 135 PSI on both sides, I'm hopeful it should start okay, and with a bit of running, who knows, it might even bed in, and I'm hoping that the compression slightly increases, but that could be optimistic, and I will be testing it the next time with the carburetors in place, and actually I think that typically pulls the compression readings down as well. So let's get on with it. It's a good day to be working in the garage. We are enduring Storm Amy today. I say enduring, I'm in the south coast of the country, which means we have a strong breeze. But it's still better to be inside. Right, let's crack on with it. Let's start off with carbs in place. Work around the sprocket, chain, gear selection, exhausts. It shouldn't take me very long. So let's just see if we can get it together, and then together we'll see if it starts. Quick sit rep, about 1 hour in of just steady tinkering. All electrics connected up, side cover on, sprocket, chain, gear selector, connected up the neutral indicator down here, battery back in place, back end back all on, and neutral indicator now working. So that's all nice and simple stuff. And the next little challenge is the exhaust, and I've had a few challenges put that on in the past. So I'm going to get some new gaskets, he says. Do I have new gaskets? I'm sure I've got new gaskets. Let's have a look. Come here. Yes, we've got some new gaskets. So we'll be putting them on. And I have found that if I put a little bit of grease on these, they stay in place nicely. Then you can put the exhausts on. Right, let's just get these on, lined up, tweaked up. Then we'll go for some fuel, and with a bit of luck, some life. Well, she's assembled. Back on, exhaust reattached. That wasn't too bad today actually. So that went all right. Everything's back on. She's absolutely done nothing, put no fuel in it whatsoever yet. So the carbs might leak, the exhaust could blow, it could leak oil, it might not have any ignition or spark. Oh, there's a whole load of things, and it might still rattle or bang like a bag of nails. So the best thing I can do now, set up a camera, turn some fuel on, turn the ignition on, see what happens. I would be surprised if it starts straight away, but it might. Let's go. Right, time has come. I've just put the fuel on, so in theory that's now filling the carbs with fuel. Is that the right setting? Is that on? Which one's on? Which one's reserve? On. Yeah, it's on. Let's put it on reserve, because I don't think there's a lot of fuel in the tank. I don't want to be starting it without any fuel. We'll give that a minute. Now, if this runs, it's going to smoke. And it's going to smoke because I've used grease to hold the exhaust gaskets in. I've used oil on the exhaust so it's slid in and attached nicely. So if it starts and smokes, don't panic. As long as it stops smoking. Okay, the lights are on. We have oil pressure warning and it's in neutral. Let's try operating the choke. And let's push the button. Hey. So promising first start. Right, okay. Come on. Maybe it doesn't want choke. Mm-hmm. Okay, that side's warmish. That side's not. So it's not firing on the right hand side at the moment. Let's go back for choke again. All right, so she's firing but not catching. Why is she not firing on the right hand side? No, stone cold. Check the spark plug. Well, that's on. Feels okay. Didn't damage the wire? No. Okay. Well, there's nothing there that scared me. I think the exhaust was blowing. Definitely running on that side and that side now. Yeah, running on both sides. Cool. Yes. I don't think the tick over's set correctly. I don't think the carbs have been set up correctly. There is promise. Right, I'm going to stop the camera there. I'm going to let her cool down a bit because she's a bit warm now. I'm going to retighten all these exhausts up because I only did them loose. Well, not too loose, but clearly it was slightly too loose. Right, so yeah, let it cool down, tighten the exhausts and go again. So there's been a slight pause in proceedings. Firstly, the battery was flat, so I've had to put that on charge, and it's still charging, so it's still not full yet. And that's going to do a few other chores and things. So I am back, and she is cold, but I've tightened the exhaust up a bit, and with a bit of luck, yeah. She's not entirely happy yet. But she is running. I've heard no knocks or bangs. So I think I'll just let her run for a while, warm up, see if it will sink those piston rings a bit better. And then a little later, I'll see if I can get it outside, but the weather's been very intermittent. so it might not let me. But so far, so good. Well, she's been ticking over about 5 minutes now. Still burning off some oil from the exhaust. So I just need to watch that and make sure that that smoke dies down, because she's a bit smoky at the moment. But as I said, I've used grease and oil and all sorts. So tick over's not very stable at the moment. I'm just going to let her sit there and idle for another 5-10 minutes, see what happens. So quick sit rep. I left it just ticking over for about 10 minutes and all that smoke, all the oil burning off stopped. So that was good. And now so she's starting on the button, ticking over. It's not quite right yet. I'm still hearing it hunting slightly. I'm actually thinking it might need a set of spark plugs. It seems like it's intermittently catching on that side. So she's running, no smoke, no knocks, no bangs yet, but I haven't ridden it yet. So we'll see what she's like to ride in a bit. If the weather stays like this and my wife gets back from her chores, then I'll be able to pop out, because she'll be here to look after her son. Okay, right. So far so good. I'm feeling optimistic. I haven't adjusted the clutch yet. I don't know if that's right. And I could still encounter further problems. But it's been up to temperature and nothing happened. That was my concern. My biggest fear was that as it gets hot, the rings were going to expand. There's not going to be enough space for them to expand without buckling or breaking. That didn't appear to happen. I mean, it's been running stationary for at least, over 10 minutes, probably close to 15 minutes. And it just continued ticking over, no noticeable change. So hopefully it'll be all right to ride. Okay, fingers crossed I get an opportunity soon. Okay, so I have a problem. And I don't know quite what to do at the moment. I pulled it out on the driveway just to check the clutch, and that was fine. That took me like 2 turns to adjust the clutch, and I've ridden it up there and back here, and it rode fine. But, and this is a big but, for reasons I don't understand. Oh, hello. What's going on now? Okay, now I'm confused. So, what I was going to tell you was the oil light stayed on. Now, the oil light's not coming on at all. What is happening? Right, let me pause, let me check the wiring. Have I just done something daft? Because it's running, or it was running. It's dead. Alright, what have I done? Right, let me just stop and check the wiring now. Okay, now I'm proper confused. So it was running and riding, on the driveway at least, and it was working perfectly, and I turned it off on the key, and I've picked the camera up to show you that the oil pressure light was staying on, but I've checked the oil level and the level's fine, and it's sounding good and looking good. And now I've got no electrics at all, literally nothing. The key is completely dead. No horn, no lights. And I've, okay. Why's that? Let me uncover the fuse, check the fuse, because there's a main fuse in here, isn't there? Maybe that's gone. Right, let me let me dig that out, which is bizarre, because I've had no electrical problems on this at all until now. Right, okay. Let's check these fuses. That one's fine. That one's fine. That one's fine. Nothing wrong with the fuses. Okay, let's check the battery. Make sure we've actually still got... I mean, I've just been charging the battery. Got no reason to doubt the battery. Right. You see that? Maybe you can, don't know. What we got? 12.78. The battery's fine. So what has just... Ah! Now I'm confused. Right. As I'm sat here... Look, the lights come back on. What on earth... Okay, I'm confused now. How has that just come back to life? I mean, it came back to life whilst I was checking the fuse. Maybe there's a problem in this board somewhere. Let's have a look. So the lights are still on. Let's have a prod and a poke. Anything here? No. Nothing there causing a problem. Ah, that's weird. My suspicion is the ignition. Because I mean, I know it's a bit dodgy. Ah, look, it is. It bloody is, look. That's clearly the only thing I've touched then. Ah, yeah. So I've got a problem here, I think. I've got a worn ignition. Ah! How can that be playing up now? Right. Let me see what I've got in stock, see if I've got another ignition barrel or anything. I don't think I have. I might have to take it apart. Okay. Pause. Look, I've got an electrical problem. I don't know if that's picking up on camera, but they're both flashing. I don't believe that. I've checked the oil, I got good pressure. They both started playing up and the key was playing up at exactly the same time. It's a leap of faith, but I'm confident I don't have an oil pressure problem. I'm confident I've got an electrical gremlin up here now. Yikes. Okay. Because if something's shorting, it will be getting an earth, and if it's getting an earth, that will make the light come on. Right, I think I'm going to have a good dig around in here. See if I can find something that's not as it should be. But it's running okay. Right, cool. Let's just... Oh, I don't know what I'm going to do today. How frustrating. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. So I'm pretty confident the engine's largely as it should be. It seems to be running reasonably well. I think the carbs still need a little bit fine tuning in, but all in all, not bad. And now I seem to have an electrical gremlin with the ignition. And I don't know why, but I've had all the panels off, I've had the tank off. Maybe I've disturbed something. I'm not sure how much time I've got available right now. I'll have a quick dive in, see if I can find something quickly. If not, I might have to put this on the back burner. I can still test drive it, I suppose, as long as I feel confident it can't actually be an oil pressure problem. There wasn't a problem with the oil pressure. It was going out. I've got plenty of oil in it. It's not burning oil. It's not losing oil. There isn't even an oil leak anywhere. Could the oil pump have failed? I suppose it could. I don't think it has, but it could have done. But then the electrical, the key, the key and the neutral indicator are all playing up at exactly the same time. That cannot be a coincidence. There's no way I could have an electrical gremlin and a failed oil pump simultaneously. No, I don't believe that. Right. Let me have a little dig in, see if I can find something. Okay, found the problem. I'm an idiot. Let me just talk you through it. So having determined I thought it was something up here, and I've taken all the headlight out and I've checked through the wiring in there, and I couldn't find anything obvious other than this actually unprotected earth, which I will be sorting out because that might be touching something. Anyway, came around here, checking voltage, checking everything, checking all the voltage down off the battery through here, through that connector, up to here, and I was trying to check all the voltage, and I was using that bolt in there as the earthing point. So, you know, that's where everything's earthed through this damn great big thick cable. And then I went, hold on a minute, what's that? Look, I haven't done it up. I got a bad earth. Oh, you idiot. Right, let's tighten that bolt up, and that's going to help the electrical situation. It might not solve everything, but it's certainly going to help. Let me do that. Demonstrate my foolishness on camera. Okay, right, sort that, try again. Okay, I wasn't being quite as stupid as I thought I was. So I've just tried to tighten that nut and bolt up, and it wouldn't tighten. It felt like it was tight, but it clearly wasn't. And the thread is a bit boogered up. So I'm going to get the old tap and tie set, clean the thread up, and that should solve my problem. So I had tightened it, but I hadn't noticed the thread was knackered. Right, let me sort that out. Okay, so sorted out the thread, tightened the earth point up nicely, so that's as good as tight. Ignition's now working again, but frustratingly, she's running perfectly, but that's staying on. Right, so have I got low oil pressure or a further electrical issue? I think I can test this with the multimeter. I'll disconnect the oil pressure switch and test it directly. And if the switch is not clicking out when the engine is running, I've either got a faulty switch or no oil pressure. Okay, right, let's test it with a multimeter, and then we know a little closer to what we're actually playing with. Okay, update. I've been chasing my damn tail again. So obviously I had the fuses out and checked the fuses, and then I determined they hadn't blown, and I put everything together, and then I couldn't get the headlights to work. And the reason I couldn't get the headlights to work is because the fuse holder hadn't made a good connection. So I've now got all the electrics back working again. Right, but there is still a problem with either the fuel sender unit or, so there is still a problem with either the oil sender or the oil pressure. So I've taken this wire, I've done a continuity check, it's earthed. I've started the engine, it's still earthed. And that's meant to lose its earth when the oil pressure builds. I've taken the covers off and you can see inside, and you can actually see the chains, and everything's fine. You know, I can move it on the kickstand. So the chain is intact, it's there, it's rotating, there's plenty of oil in it. So I have either got a drop in oil pressure, which I guess could be a mechanical failure of the oil pump in some way, or a huge blockage. Now, I struggle to think it could be a blockage because, I mean, I've had everything out and there was nothing loose. It's all clean, it's all tidy. I haven't used a load of gasket or sealant in it. So I don't think it can be a blockage. It could be a failure of the oil pump, or it could be a failure of the oil pressure switch. And I don't know which. The only thing I can think to do is if I take the tank off and I just lift the rocker cover gasket, the rocker cover itself, if I just lift that and turn the engine over, if there's oil pressure, I should get a whole load of oil, obviously, being pumped up to this point here. And if I don't get that, then I guess it's oil pressure. If I do get loads of oil pumped to the top of the engine, it must be the switch. I do not want to ride the engine. I don't want to ride the bike and test it with no oil pressure, because guess what? That would definitely be a hiding to nothing. I don't believe there's a drop in oil pressure, but I need to prove that out. I need to rule that out. I can change the switch. I don't have another good switch. I know I've got another faulty switch, but the other faulty switch worked the other way. It never made earth. Right, tank off, cover off, turn the engine over. Let's see if I've obviously got oil getting to the top of the engine. So good first impression. Now I've taken the spark plugs out, it's not going to fire, but if I turn this over now, I should get oil come out of here and just overflow and go everywhere. And if I get that, then I have oil pressure. I have oil being pumped around the engine. Let's try it now. There we go. That is working. That is pumping oil. Okay, I definitely have oil being pumped to the top of the engine. Definitely. It's just got a faulty oil pressure switch. Oh, why are these things sent to test me? Okay, I can change that another time. That is not a big job. It means I need to drop the oil, but it's not a big job. Okay, and I can do that without removing the engine as well. All right, let's put the covers back on. Let's ignore the oil pressure warning light. It's definitely pumping oil, and it's getting a bit late now. I might have to test ride it tomorrow. Frustrating. Okay, but we're getting there. All day I've been on this now. So the job of just connecting up the engine, giving it a test, just has gone from one thing to another thing to another. It's all back together. I think it's now right ready for a test ride, but I'm out of time tonight and it's getting dark. But look, she's all reassembled, she's all reconnected. I think she's behaving herself again. That's staying on. I'm confident it's just the oil pressure switch, so I think I'm going to give it a test ride, but not today because I'm out of time. So let's just get her packed up for today. So, a mere second for you, an overnight for me. I'll come back and we'll give her a test ride. Wish me luck. Please wish me luck. I could do with some good luck. Thank you. I've come to my senses. I've had a change of heart. It makes no sense to ignore the oil warning light. If I rode it and seized the engine, having ignored that, how angry would I be with myself and how stupid would I feel? So, I am pausing for tonight, but I've just spent 15 minutes reading the Haynes manual, and it talks about how there's a high pressure oil pump and it needs to be maintained at about 60 psi. Just because I can see oil, maybe it's not reaching the right pressures. So for that reason, I'm pausing, but I've just laid the engine down on its side for tonight. It can lay there, nothing's going to happen to it, and in the morning I can take the cover off and go inside and have a good look at the oil pressure, the oil pump. Didn't plan this. Did not plan this. Needs to be done. No point in crying about it. Let's just get on with it. And I'm back. Another day. I was not anticipating working on the bike today, so I'm juggling this, and I've had to make a big 3-bay compost bin for my wife and stuff, and I've got to take my son out in a minute. But I'm just grabbing time because I think to ride the bike and assume that the oil pressure warning is faulty would be very naive of me. So I've laid her down, I've taken the side cover off. First impressions, there's nothing obvious. You know, this is all absolutely fine, it's all connected, the chain's all fine. There's nothing wrong visually here. Obviously I can now get to the pressure sender, so I could try just changing that. It's possible. I potentially could start taking this out as well and taking the pump out. What I'm thinking I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect this, take the circlip off, remove these sprockets, and then try turning the pump by hand and see how it feels, if I get any noises, sounds, anything out of it. Yeah, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to just start dismantling this a little so I can actually turn the pump by hand. Let's give that a go. Well, it's sprockets off, nothing obvious, and the oil pump itself just rotates very easily by hand. So I've been trying to remove the oil pump, and I've got my JIS screwdriver. I've had that in there. I've been tapping the top, I've been hanging on it. I have not shredded any of the screws yet, but my god, not a single one of them is turning, not one, and no matter what I'm trying. So I think I'm gonna have to try the impact driver to see if that actually undoes anything, because right now that does not feel like it wants to move, and if I can't even look at that, I don't know what I could do. All right, let's go and get the impact driver and give it a go. No, no, no. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. That one undid. I was bloody doubting myself then. Okay, so we've got one undone. One. One. Two. Okay. The impact driver is working. 2 out of 4. Come on, darling. Three. Okay. Come on. Four. Oh, good old impact driver. Has not let me down. I have no idea how you out. Yes, it is. Well, at least it's going to begin to move. Oh, there we go. Okay. So. That is incredibly simple. So I'm beginning to wonder how that could possibly fail. I'm not even sure it has. Okay. Okay, right, well, let's have a good look in all the passengers. See if there's anything there that gives me any indications what's going on. Right, I'm searching for anything and everything. I've been looking carefully in all the passageways. Everything's perfectly clear. I've been blowing air into the passageways and nothing's blocked. I've removed the oil filter, which, you know, was brand new, and that looks absolutely fine to me. I haven't done anything daft with the assembly, have I? Let's just have a look at this. So what have I got here? I've got a metal washer at the bottom, a rubber washer at the top. I've got this spring here, covered in oil, getting filthy dirty. Is there anything else to it? It talks about as a pressure relief valve. Well, let's tip this oil out. I'm just trying to think, if the pump's working perfectly but a relief valve is failed, then it would be not allowing the pump to get up to pressure because the valve would be opening too early. At least I think that's in my mind's eye. That's what I'm suspecting. Now, frustratingly, it shows me that on the earlier versions of this engine, the pressure relief valve was right here, and I could check it, look at it. But it now says that on this engine, it's deep inside the bloody engine again, isn't it? So if I need to go there, I've got to actually split the engines again, split the cases. Right. So that is just a cover, there's nothing else there. This is obviously the central bolt. Not blocked, it's clear as clear as clear. There is a mechanism of some description in the middle here, and I think that is the pressure relief valve they were talking about. I can see a spring, and I can see what looks like a plunger. Is there something there that moves? Or does it move up, maybe? Don't know. Not actually sure how on earth you'd get into that. But there's a pin there, there's a spring there, and there's something in here. And that, I think, is absolutely correct. And if that would have to, but it only allows it to bypass the filter, so that cannot be my problem. The worst thing this could possibly be doing is the oil would be not going through the filter. That is not my issue. That is not my issue. So it's not this. So if it's not that, and it's not the pump itself, and all the passages look clear, what more could it be? I'm going to try putting some air in these passages here. Just check that it comes out there. Should do. Right. Right. Well, from that hole there to that hole there is definitely clear. There's definitely a clear passage from there to there. That's not the end of the passage, it clearly continues upwards. So the fact that I can blow air through, I don't see as an issue. All of these are clear. So there's these 3 passages at the bottom. And I think they're the in. So I believe that's, yeah, what is the, can I track it? Can I determine the path? So if that is on there, like that, that one's blocked, so that one does nothing. Yeah, that is blocked. I think that's the out. So I think it's, that's there. So I think one side of this is pushing the oil into the filter. So that actually, that would be that one there, isn't it? Can I see that? Can I see that? Yeah, I think I can. So if I, yes, so that is a direct connection to the oil filter, and that's 100% clear. That one does nothing. That one's actually blocked off. That's actually in the middle here, so that doesn't go anywhere, which is interesting because it's clearly there, and that associates to this. So I think that must be pulling the oil in from the pickup, it must be passing it through the filter. But then there's this hole up here. Ah, no, that is not a hole. Alright, now I'm confused. No, I thought that connects to that, and it does. What are the passageways in this engine? I mean, I can't find any blockages. I can't see any problems. Oh, dear, 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 dear. I'm going around in circles now. What about these? These imply they're passageways. Are they, though? No, they're not. They're not passageways. They must just be like for locating. It's just those two. that does something. That must do something. I need to open this up. Right, so I'm trying to check this oil filter, and look, I've just filled the chamber on the right hand side with oil, and I'm about to rotate it now, and you will see that pumps the oil out without any problems at all. Let's make it nice and messy. That is unquestionably working, and that's the way it works. It takes it from the larger chamber and it pumps it out that smaller one. Okay, look, everything I'm looking at is telling me that the oil feed system is working absolutely fine. The one thing I can't check is that oil pressure relief valve that is deep inside the damn engine. I've got no reason to think why that would have suddenly failed. That's the only thing I can think of. I think I'm going to have to reassemble everything, and then I'm going to change the oil pressure sender. I'm going to put everything back together. I'm going to refill it, and I'm going to start it, and I'm going to see, because I cannot see a problem with the oil pressure system. How frustrating, eh? Okay, let's get it back together. Let's see if I've got any different results. I don't know why I'm expecting that, but let's give it a go. Well, she's back upright, partially assembled, spark plugs and stuff disconnected. But in theory, at least, we should now have the oil warning light. So she's not going to start. Let's turn her over. Okay. We got the warning light working again. What have I done? Is it going to stop again? Oh, frustration. I have just changed the oil pressure switch. Maybe it was as simple as the switch was faulty. I don't know. Right, let's get the exhaust on, get the fuel connected, spark plugs on. Let's see if it's going to run. Okay, exhaust reconnected, spark plugs back on, fuel tap on. Give that a moment. Right. I see no reason why this shouldn't start and that light go out. Please, come on, behave. Okay. She's hesitant to tick over. She's cold. I've got no choke out. That's fine. I don't mind that. I can adjust that. It sounded quiet. The pressure switch was working. I don't know. I have no idea if I've actually solved a problem, or if I have an intermittent problem, or if it was as simple as the warning switch. Right, and in fine tradition, it's now dark, as it is pretty much every single time I finish working on this bike. It does test me, this thing. Right, so I'm not going to take it out for a test ride now. I think I'm looking at the camera. The camera makes it look a lot lighter than it is right now. It's not that light. Okay, let's button it up, finish it off, adjust the clutch again, get the seat on, get the panels on, get it ticking over, and I'll try and make time tomorrow for a test ride before I send this upload. Yeah, okay, fingers crossed. Right then, it's about 4 days later, and it's the first opportunity I have got to actually try and ride this thing. My life is too busy, which is a good thing. Sometimes you don't get a chance to do the things you want to do. Right. First impressions. She feels smooth, clutch feels fine. This suspension always surprises me. It feels really, really quite nice. Sort of to the point of actually being quite a bit better than the other bike actually. It just seems to float along. Well, hopefully in a minute we'll be able to get past the built up area, past the bus. Right, and let's see what she wants to do. Old 250. She wants to go. Not getting a lot of mechanical sympathy from me at the moment. But she's enthusiastic. That would be the way I'd describe this thing right now. Not quick, but enthusiastic. Still feel the carbs could do with a bit better sync. Probably meet a bloody tractor in a second, better slow down a bit. No, she feels good. I think it's doing as much as I could hope it would do. I mean, it's a 40-year-old 250 for God's sake. She ain't never gonna set the world alight, but all in all, I'm a happy boy. Right, let's go and do a few more miles, see if she continues to feel good or not. Back up in the power. Yeah, she's alright. She wants to be up in the higher revs. She's happier in the higher revs, that's for sure. I suspect this is how every Super Dream was written by everyone when they were 18 and these things were new. Just reminding it the way it was designed to be written. She's a bit of fun. She is a bit of fun. I was enjoying that. I mean, it's not like a modern bike. You can thrash it and you're still not going quick. I like that. I mean, you do that on a modern bike, you're up, 100 mile an hour plus. This thing, you're revving the nuts off of it, you're probably still south of 60. Right, that's it. Let's get it home. I'm back. It's back. We're all in one piece. That was good. I enjoyed that. And she is all good. She's back together. She was revving well. She was pulling well. She was revving through to 9,000-10,000 RPM. The gear change, a little bit sticky. So when you're changing down through the gears, it wasn't always springing back up. I'll look at that. Might just be a bit of adjustment. It might be some lubrication. Maybe, worst ways, it might be the spring on the inside that returns the mechanism. I can change that over. That's no problem. But generally speaking, I'm happy with it. The only thing that wasn't working, the speedo. So I've checked it's connected because it was bouncing and dying last time I rode the bike. It's definitely connected up, but it's doing nothing. That's a frustration. However, I'm parking this now. This bike was never intended to be the main project. I was expecting a couple of days work so I could take it on the charity ride. That spiraled out of control. But look, I'm going to put this back to the side now. I'm going to get back onto the main project, back onto the Scrambler build. I thank you very much all for your patience, your support. Everyone, look, I'll see you soon. Next upload's on the Scrambler. Stay safe, everyone, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.